In this video, we're going to look at the format of the income statement, and then we're going to prepare an income statement using one of the questions that we worked on before. The format of an income statement looks like this. It is one of the 4 required financial statements. At the very top, the header information is presented, and as we talked about before, the header information always has 3 things. First, the name of the company, then the name of the statement, and then the date. The income statement shows revenues and expenses. And if you have multiple revenues and multiple expenses for the company, it's going to show a list of each of the different types of revenue and each of the different types of expenses. And along with revenues and expenses, it's going to calculate the net income or net loss. Net income or net loss is really the profit that the company made during the year or the loss the company made during the year. If revenues are more than expenses, then the company has a net income, which is a profit. If revenues are less than expenses, then the company will have a net loss for the period. This particular statement is prepared for a period of time. So you will typically see an income statement saying for the year ended, or for the month ended, or for the quarter ended. Let's go look at an example. Here's the example we were working on for ABC Company's Year 2 transactions. In the previous video, we saw how those transactions affected the accounting equation, and then we have balances for the accounts at the end of the year. Now we're going to use that information to prepare the income statement. When we were working on the problem, I did record which particular items were revenue, expenses, and dividends, because those would be helpful for me when I am preparing the financial statements. At the bottom here, I have a sample income statement. This is what the format of the income statement looks like, and I'm going to refer to that when I'm preparing financial statements. So whenever we're preparing financial statements, always we start with the header information. We know that this is ABC Company, and we're looking at the income statement. And I will abbreviate to make things quick, but when you're looking at formal financial statements, you do have to write out everything in full. And then this would be for the year ended, December 31st of year 2, which is what we're looking at for this example. We're going to start off with our revenues. We only have one type of revenue, so we're just going to call it revenue. And our revenue was $110,000. So I'm going to put $110,000 for revenue. Next, we're going to look at expenses. So we only had operating expenses, and operating expenses were $93,000. So let's go ahead and put our expenses here, and I'm going to call it operating expenses. And I put my expenses as a negative number because expenses are subtracted from revenue. Our expenses were $93,000, but they're subtracted from revenue, so I am going to subtract $93,000 from 110, and that will give me my net income or net loss. In this case, my revenues are more than my expenses, so I have a net income. And my net income is $17,000. 17,000 is 110 minus 93. This is a pretty simple income statement. Later on, when we do more different types of expenses, you're going to list out all these different expenses, and then you'll have a line item that says total expenses. Also, later on, when you get into more advanced accounting topics, you'll find that there are other things that belong in the income statement, but for now, just remember that it's just revenues and expenses that go on the income statement and that you're going to calculate your net income or net loss. That's it for this video.